Laughlin, Sue Rizzo in person, and Bill Reinhardt via the wonders of modern technology. Right, Bill? Everybody's received the package, but I'll ask for a motion to accept the minutes of our December 12th, 2023 meeting, which is the last meeting we had. Do I hear a motion to accept the minutes?
Motion.
Sue Rizzo first. Any discussion on the minutes? Do I hear a second?
Second.
Dave Riley, second. All those in favor? Any opposed?
Aye.
Okay, thank you. All right, let me turn this over to Atlas, to Kevin Catalano, talk a little bit about a project that we've been working on for some time. This is a component of the of the economic development assistance package that we put together for the company. They've also submitted and been approved by the Albany County IDA. This is the other tool that we use to retain and attract companies to our county. So, Kevin, you want to walk everybody through it?
Yes, thank you, Kevin. First of all, if anybody has any questions about the stage grant itself and the program,
We'll talk about that afterwards.
So what we're looking at now is Atlas Copco's currently has about just over 100,000 square foot facility out in Voorheesville. They're looking to add 53,000 square feet. It's going to be a high bay assembly manufacturing area with cranes, with able to handle large pieces of equipment, because they want to bring the construction of their new GT compressors here to upstate New York. Right now, they're currently built in Germany. They're built, they're disassembled, they're put on boats, they're brought back to America, they're brought here to America, they're reassembled. Sometimes they have a plant locally, they have other plants around the country where they can do it, or they assemble it on site. And we all know what could possibly go wrong with reassembling a piece of industrial equipment on site. So what they're looking to do is they have the land here to build the addition. They want to build it here. We're putting together a set of incentives to encourage them to do it here. They currently have 255 employees. With this project, adding 55, they will be at over 300. As you can see on jobs retained, they're talking about 35 jobs, as with all major manufacturers and large industrial companies, they're looking for efficiencies. If they don't build out here, there's a potential that we could lose up to 35 jobs based on, what their efficiencies are at the plant. As we look through the scoring matrix, the idea is to get 15 points. And we go through the different criteria here, and one is it consistent with the county's economic development strategy? Absolutely. It is.
Can you just tell me where we are in defining
They're a manufacturer. They're starting to get into large GT compressors that they make, and these will be used in carbon capture and storage. They also use these for heavy industrial heat pumps and other carbon reduction processes that they're involved with. They also have started working with Plug Power on building these compressors to help create their hydrogen. When we look at the job creation retention, we scored that a 3. We're going to retain the 35 that could be potentially lost. We're hoping to add 55 over the next 5 years, bringing total to over 300 employees at the site. They do 3 shifts a day, starting at 5 a.m. They ladder them, they close at 1 a.m. And they run 6 days a week currently. They have the demand. The level of investment, I put that as a 4. That's a $40 million expansion on top of what they've already invested in the community. Project viability, also a 4. The best thing about this is, while we're granting them a stage grant, because they're going to build these for carbon, they're being used for carbon capture, they're being used for the industrial heat pumps, they're being used in the hydrogen industry. Just having this extra 53,000 square feet at this site will continue to lead to jobs, even if something were to happen with what they're building here. They initially applied for 1 million. I've talked with the team here at the Alliance. We feel that a really nice number for them, in addition to the IDA incentives that we provided, we thought a level of 500,000 would be appropriate. We've talked to them, they're comfortable with the 500 number. They're going to take the entire incentive package up to their board, and we would hope to have a final decision about them putting that plant addition in place fourth quarter of this year, and they would probably start next year. They've already identified a builder, a contractor. They're working on plans. They've gone to the community. Everybody likes what they're doing here. So I had a great tour.
One note, I think this was mentioned yesterday, but this is a reimbursement grant, correct? So
Yes.
if they, for whatever reason, there's no money expended until the project actually happens.
That's Luke, thank you for bringing up that point. Yes, so the way the grant would work and the way it's worked in the past is they would complete the entire project on their dime. They would send me a complete reconciliation of costs. We would make sure the costs are consistent with the build, and then we would send them the money. We wouldn't give it to them just as, okay, here, good luck with your project. This is, once the project's built, we do a tour, we do a reconciliation, we then fund. So there are stopgap measures along the way so that we know what we're investing.
The first $40 million is the borrowing money, or what are they doing for the first?
That's part of the, I believe they probably they may have the cash on hand, or they would borrow. From what I understand, they're a very strong company.
They're part of a much larger, what is it, Edwards Vacuum or something, Luke?
Yeah, they have 49,000
Yeah.
49,000 employees across.
They also have, I believe, secured some state incentives as well, because they are a company that has opportunities all throughout the country, so the state was interested in keeping them here.
You know, as with every project we do, we had an economic impact statement done for this project by Moore Associates. You know, it came up very well on that, and the project enjoys the support of the village of Voorheesville and Mayor Rich Stroud, town of New Scotland, Supervisor Doug LaGrange, as well as the school district, who we had to get involved for the IDA component of this. So it's, you know, these guys are a good corporate citizen, well thought of, involved in the community, and it's, you know, right up our alley. Like Kevin said, it's consistent with the strategy. It's keeping good paying jobs, manufacturing jobs, and, you know, for a good corporate citizen of the county.
Where are they at?
Voorheesville. Stockholm, Sweden. Is
Sweden.
where the main office is, and they're currently building these compressors in Germany.
Okay, no, but they're corporations in Sweden. And we already funded the, you said that the county funded $4 million. Tell me what.
No, well, I'll talk about the stage
Where
training
the money's
program
coming from.
overall. But, you know, this one here is just for $500,000, so that's.
Not out of that one.
It is out of that.
It is
one.
out of that.
It is out of that.
Okay,
So there was some IDA benefits.
that's the other thing I wanted to ask
Yeah.
about, the IDA benefits after reading the papers.
Yeah, so, you know,
What's
the
the
idea
idea
benefits are, you know, the normal stuff. It's a pilot agreement, you know, payment in lieu of taxes, which, you know, Luke and Kevin did some good work and negotiated with the town and the village and the school district. And
For what period?
I think they've got a 10-year pilot payment.
And it's a sliding scale, and after 10 years.
Yeah, it's, you know, it's just it's a reduction in the incremental taxes that would be generated by the new development. So the property taxes that they currently pay aren't affected at all, they pay those. It's just the additional property taxes that would be
So
assessed
this,
as a result of
where it's
this,
being built.
this improvement.
Right, but they get it for 10 years.
Right,
And then it's,
And you know, so that the other thing is that there's no additional cost to the school district or to the town as a result of this. You know, they're wildly enthusiastic about this.
oh yeah, no, I'm
Yeah.
all for the project, I'm just trying to make sure I'm
Yeah.
understanding these pilots that really we need to do a crackdown more of the city of Albany. You know, especially, I don't know if you saw the paper today, but the Aloha, that,
Yeah, well, that was,
that's a,
I mean, that's so far an outlier, Sue, that.
right,
I
but that's
just-
one, well, that's one, but there's a lot of them that the payment in lieu of taxes that the city of Albany never collected when they were
Yeah.
supposed to collect. So
Right.
this payment in lieu of taxes is for 10 years.
Yeah.
And they're forgiven, for that portion of the building for 10 years, 100%.
No,
It's
but
not-
it is,
Is
you're
it-
correct,
is
it's
it
a
a scale?
slice, so the
Okay.
first year is 0, and then it's 10. Essentially, it's not a percentage in this case, but it essentially equates to a 10% increase until the year 11 is full taxation.
Yeah,
Okay.
usually our pilots, you know, range from, you know, 10 to 15 years. I'm told that years ago, they did a 20-year pilot for the Lafarge cement plant down in Queens, you know, which is a huge, you know, multi-$100 million project. The plug power project, for example, is a 12-year pilot. You know, that's kind of standard. You know, the rationale is it gives the company a period of time to, you know,
I
to
understand.
ramp up production.
No, I agree with pilots as long as they have a period and a status
Yeah.
diagram.
And,
So
and,
scale.
you know, so the other thing is that, you know, our position and the position of the IDA, which, as you know, we also manage, is that we will not do a project in a community that isn't supportive of it. It just never turns out well, even if you're
Isn't supportive
successful.
of the sentence.
The pilot payments and, you know, the property tax reductions and the use even, because it just, it,
No, I'm all for, IDA, I'm all for the pilots. I think they have to be tracked.
Yeah.
Some cities do better jobs than others, but,
well, you know, we're all required to do that, you know, some do, some don't, but we're very good. You know, Amy submits every year all of our data to the state, you know, Authority Budget Office, ABO, and we file all of our stuff on the Public Authority Reporting Information System.
right, but this is
so-called
property
PARS.
tax, so this is local.
No, that we report on property tax as well.
No, okay. And the other, not that it's an issue with this building, I'm assuming, but, when you do approve these, the IDA benefits, and if you sell the building, does the buyer get the benefit of the tax relief?
So
The answer
if,
should-
you mean if they sold the company, for example, and somebody else came into the,
Right, let's hold the company, not, okay, this specific issue, I don't think it's an issue because they already have a building and you're adding a building. But I'm asking this question to just catch me up on.
you know, that's a good question.
Well, it's a very good question.
So if somebody.
I don't know,
somebody
somebody not
else
seeing
came
this
into-
pilot agreement, I don't represent the idea.
Okay.
Standard language requires the consent of the IDA.
Yeah,
that's
The
right.
relevant IDA, that's standard language across the state.
Right.
You can't assign it, you can't assign the benefits to a new owner without the consent.
Okay, here's my problem, just so you know, and this doesn't affect this project, but just now that, put it on the table. When, in the IDAs, they say that you can't buy, if you sell the project, you sell the real estate, the tax doesn't go to the benefit to the new owner because the developer would, be the one making the money. So that's why you wouldn't have the pilot go to the new owner, because the developer's, selling at a premium because the taxes are less. You're looking questionable, that's a
Yeah,
given.
I'm not
That's
sure.
the easy
Part
part,
of the,
that's the easy part. I'll
we
give you the company,
typically,
but-
I think that scenario typically would come into play more often with residential projects too, which is just not something.
No, they're
Well,
not residential, this has to do with, and I'll give you an example, because I used to listen to the IDA for the city, and, there's an apartment complex on, across from Sydney, and, the IDA language says you can't, if you sell the building, you don't get the benefit of the pilot from the new owner, because that means the developer is making all the money, because he's selling something that there's gonna be a less expense. So what this owner did is he sold the entity.
You said the equity.
That's right, we sold the entity. I used to do this, I used to sell the, and I didn't know that you could save money on dock stamps. So you sell the entity, so the pilot was passed through. So then the IDA said, I said, well, you should put language in your document that says, not only if you sell it, but if you sell the entity. And they said, oh, no, we want the committee to approve that. And I was like, you gotta be kidding me, because the committee's not gonna approve it. Now, this situation, like you said, this language doesn't affect, it's the IDA language, and the IDA language says,
I don't know what the idea,
Okay.
I'm saying that the standard.
oh, that's it, 'cause you're not the IDA.
Requires.
But anyway, I'm gonna talk to you about that more, because I wanna make sure you're very aware of this, because, it shouldn't happen, because the developers make the money. And that's what's not right. And that's why these pilots, and then too, with the pilot, making sure that somebody actually monitors this. Now, who monitors the pilot? You said you guys do.
That's correct.
So like the city of Albany, they monitor their pilots, who monitors the Warriors?
It's all ours.
It's still yours.
It's us, it's the county IDA.
Because Voorheesville in the town of New Scotland does not have a local IDA in the way that the city of Albany does. So
Yes,
the communities that do not have a local IDA are typically where we see most of our projects come to the county. Queens.
and they go to which IDA? They go to county.
Right,
Okay.
because if you're in the town of Colony
So
or
the
the
county,
city of
so,
Albany, you'll typically go to the most local.
right, so the county as well as you guys will be monitoring this. So what the county would be also, finance, right? Is that, you say, for property tax, for Voorheesville. To make sure that they're monitoring the pilot.
Yeah.
I wanna make sure that besides this organization, that, yes, that's what,
Yeah.
thank you.
No, it's all very large.
So,
Yeah.
sorry to
No.
detour here. This
No.
project's a very good project. I agree 100%. I think it's great. I think it's great for Voorheesville. I look at, I'm an end thinker, and I look at the end results, and I get tired of what happens 10 years from now. And eventually somebody needs to be paying property tax, because Voorheesville doesn't have as much problem as the city, but, yes, so that's.
Yeah.
And so far, you've done a good job.
Yeah,
Just as an aside, because I just had this conversation yesterday. We have never done a project in the city of Albany since I've been here. I am told that about 15 or so years ago, the Albany County IDA CRC did the SUNY Nanotech project up on Fuller Road, but other than that, so we don't do projects in the city of Albany, because they have their own IDA.
Right.
And I don't know what their policies are in this regard, but, we are very, fastidious about our compliance with, all laws. But, basically what this comes down to, Sue, is you're offsetting the high cost of doing business in New York State.
No, I
It's
understand,
just,
right.
it's
And
what
I
it is.
understand that you have to do startup, you help people with startup, but there has to be an end to it, that's my
Yeah.
point.
Yeah.
It doesn't go on for 99 years, or it doesn't go on, or somebody needs to
So
monitor it
I've
for 10.
never, until this recent thing happened, I have never
Heard of such a
ever
thing,
heard of such a thing.
I-
That is such an outlier.
only in the city. But
Right.
anyway, okay,
So, Ms. Rizzo, you had very nice comments about this. Was that a motion to accept the resolution to?
yeah, I'll make a motion to accept the resolution
Thank you.
as,
Bill, any comments or questions from you?
My only
Your
question
question.
is, with Susan's example, who is the developer here that we're
There-
concerned about or would be concerned about?
Yeah, there is no
yes,
there is no developer here, Bill. It's the company themselves that are doing the project. There's no, the company owns the property,
it's
company's
owner
doing it.
occupied, it's owner
Yeah,
occupied,
Yeah,
it's not a third party.
yes.
So my example was not for this specific project, I was just bringing it up because it triggered me to make sure that I knew what the IDA was doing.
All right, well, anyway, my only comment is, I think this is a great project.
Yeah.
I should be explicit that, Atlas Copco is in my district. But it does seem like, from the proposal, everything makes a lot of sense. My concern going into this meeting was just whether the, recommendation of 500,000 was going to be sufficient for management decisions. But, I think that was Kevin who said yes. So then I'm good with it. And I think it's great if if we can get them to stay for 500,000 instead of $1 million, I like that.
Right.
Yeah, Mr. Reinhardt, we did sensitize the amount with the management locally, and they were very appreciative that the county would step up for 500,000. Yes, they would have loved $1 million, but they think 500,000 really shows the commitment of the county being, wanting to see them stay here. So it's been talked about, it's been discussed with the local management, and they will put it as part of the incentive package to present to their board.
Right. Okay, well, that's good.
Any other comments before we ask for a second? Okay, do I hear a second of the motion?
I'll second it.
Dave or Bill?
And actually, he
Has
can't,
to be.
he's virtual, so
Has to be done.
he can ask any questions you want, but the vote doesn't matter. It's the three of you.
So I guess I have,
So, all those in favor?
Right.
Aye.
aye.
Any opposed? Okay, let the record reflect that the motion was passed unanimously.
And this
Thank
is
you all.
500,000 out of how much money?
10 million total.
10 million total?
Yeah, we have, there was 4 million appropriated by the county legislature in 2023 and 6 million in 2024. We've only drawn down the $4 million, and this is, this 500,000 comes out of that $4 million pot.
So we're still holding the 10 million?
6 million.
No, the 4 plus the 6?
We've drawn down the
Yeah.
4, we're holding that.
You drew down the
Yeah.
4, and now you're taking 500 out of the 6.
No, 500 out of the 4 that we
It's-
already drawn.
yeah,
That's,
So the
Yeah.
county still holds the 6,
okay.
but eventually that will move to the Alliance who administers the program. As
Right.
far as
So right now, they're all
dollars
the
out
4.
the door,
Right.
correct.
And we've committed some to Plug Power.
Yeah, let me.
I just want to make sure that we have this allocated correctly.
Yeah, we do.
That.
It's only guts, right?
It's what?
I've recently looked at it, everyone's looking at
And
it.
the interest that they get on this, because I'm assuming we're investing that
Yes.
6, so we make sure he gets his
Yes,
share.
fully collateralized
No,
accounts.
meaning, you follow me? That the 6 million is allocated for this program.
Yep.
We're holding the 6.
Yes,
So we already set up the liability that we're gonna give them the 6, that we then also, they get the interest income on the 6,
that was never,
or they don't?
they don't.
Okay, they don't. That's fine, just trying to understand. All right, fine.
That typically, to avoid getting into sort of the encumbrance world, at the end of the appropriation year, we transfer that year's amount to the Alliance.
Mhm.
So that's what we did with the 4 last year. I presume that's what we would do with this year's funding as well.
Because we have, again, just to give you a little background, we have a commitment to Plug Power. We gave them $2 million out of, our total commitment to them is $5 million to do the project in the Vista Technology Campus. $2 million of that came out of the IDA reserves, and the remaining 3 is intended to come out of the $4 million that we've drawn down. With some of the new developments at Plug Power, them consolidating and moving everything back into Albany. We've kind of delayed giving that additional 3 out, and we're in discussions with Plug about drawing down that 3. And luckily, we think that even with the consolidations in Plug Power, we will have more Plug Power employees in the county now than we did prior to this. So, we're expecting, whether they draw it down this year or not, I don't know. We might, the county executive suggested we may want to do this in phases, a million and some period out, but that's yet to be negotiated and agreed on.
And I get a copy of your financials. right?
Yes.
Okay.
So, just, I think, any other questions on Plug Power? This is a company starting a brand new market for not only hydrogen-based fuel cells, but for the production of hydrogen itself. And, they've struggled quite a bit. Everybody's familiar with their stock price decline. But Senator Schumer seems to be very supportive. They've negotiated a $1.6 billion loan from the, I think the Department of Energy, one of the february disease. And they've also just done a recent equity raise. So, this is a tough road, you're going up against, the established big energy companies. And, but, it is a sustainable technology, it's a green product, green energy source, alternative energy, and it's probably gonna have its bumps along the road, but they're a local grown company that, employs a lot of people. I think they are the largest private employer in Albany County right now.
Wow.
What is your stock price now about?
$1.60.
It is that low. So it did go back down that low. So, because it was up to like 70 and then, I negotiated with my kitchen guy that I'll give him Plug Power stock for his additions and, well, I'll pay him for the additions, but he'll get the premium on the stock and I did it at the right sweet spot. So it worked out. But, so what if Plug Power does go south? We take a hit on the,
Well,
or do we ever get paid back in the bankruptcy?
there are provisions in our, the state is the one who's really on the mark. The state has, $40-something million commitment to them, but all of this stuff, Sue, is subject to recapture and what they call clawback. That if the company doesn't do what they say they're going to do within some margin of error, the county, along with the state, can claw that money back and,
Well, are we like in first position on bankruptcy? Is that-
no.
We don't secured credit. Yeah, we don't have a property interest in the property.
Right.
No.
So, but, hopefully,
I said, we'll remember this conversation. I do worry about Plug Power.
Yeah.
And I know that the state and the county is, we're all in.
yeah, the state is in big time because they've got, 2 other locations in the state, big operations, and, there's a lot riding on it.
Right, can always be sold to another energy company, I guess.
Well, I've heard people talk about it.
So it's okay, because it's okay.
Well, the traditional fossil fuel guys are looking at all these different options. They're investing in offshore wind, onshore wind. They're looking at any opportunity to soften their blow.
So, but listen, just by and large, this program has been wildly successful because what it enables us to do is when we apply for other funding, state funding, one of the questions that they frequently ask is, okay, what is the local contribution? We now have a program that we can use to satisfy that question, that we're not just asking you, New York State, to step up. We've got some skin in the game ourselves. And, we've not opened it up to everyone and anybody. We've kept it focused on, the county's economic strategy, of sustainable technology, green energy, and alternative energy companies. So, good program. It's very unique. Okay, is there any other comment from the board members or the public?
This is really cool.
Oh,
Okay.
are you the public?
Get that on the record.
I like that.
That's a
I'm
quote.
sorry,
This
I
is
didn't,
cool.
I used to sit in that seat at the IDA for the city. I used to sit at the public, but I wasn't at the
He's
table.
a master's student at the University of Albany.
Okay,
Very
good,
nice.
great.
It's a tough walk over.
Yeah.
So, any other comments or suggestions or thoughts on the program before we adjourn? Okay,
I'm good.
do I hear a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
Second, all in favor? Okay, sold American. Thank you, Bill.
I'm gonna talk to you.
All righty.
Talk to you later.
Yes, anything.